My name is Kimmi. I'm a yoga instructor in the Midwest, and I am just so passionate about people at the beginning of their fitness journey. I'm like that person that gives you that boost to send you on your way because your potential is limitless. In the notes, I have a Spotify playlist. The title of the playlist that matches this sequence is called Namas Drake. So it is all songs, all Drake. I love doing yoga to hip hop music because I just believe that music can really enhance a practice, really evokes emotions. And since this is a beginner yoga practice, it's all about having fun. It's all about just feeling your groove, feeling a good mood. And I love Drake. So go to Spotify. This is divided into three parts. So you can just do the first part of the practice, and where I say, okay, if you want to end here, you can end, or you can keep going a little bit further, or you can keep going to the very end. But whatever you do, however much time you devote to yoga, some time is better than no time. Let's get started. So we're going to start out in whatever seated position feels good for us, whether that's crisscross or legs extended. Maybe it's sitting on our knees. Whatever feels right for you, that's where we want to begin with our seated meditation. We'll be here for a few minutes, and then we'll start getting warmed up and we'll get into our work. So our hands can be on our knees with our palms facing up, or they can be in our laps. We can go ahead and gently close our eyes if that feels right for us today. Just sitting up nice and tall. Taking that nice sigh of relief that we made it here, we made it to our mat, we made it to this time to focus just on ourselves. We'll start to deepen our breaths here, deepening those inhales and exhales. Perhaps every inhale is about 3 or 4 counts. And same with every exhale, whatever that sounds or feels like to us. This is our breath rhythm. This is us setting up our pace for our practice today. Just in case our mind starts to wander to other places, to whatever we were doing before we got here today, or whatever is next on that list that just doesn't quite seem to get any shorter. We use our breath to bring ourselves back to our practice. We just come on back to those 3 and 4 counts. That's where we bring our focus whenever we're ready. It's okay if our mind starts to wander. But when it feels right, we come back to our breath. We feel our chest rise with every inhale that we take in, and feel our shoulders melt away from our ears with every exhale. When we inhale, that's our preparation. And when we exhale, that's our work. So we'll take this moment to think about what is the work that we want to do in our practice today. What do we need a little bit more of or a little less of? What do we need to make some space for? Maybe it's some healing energy for us or for someone else. Whatever our intention is, we'll let that thought gently float on into our mind. And on our exhale, just let it float on out. We'll go ahead, open up our eyes, sitting up nice and tall here, getting adjusted to that light. Let's lift our hands all the way up toward the sky. Take a big breath in. Exhale, push away. Yes. Inhale, open up the fingers wide like we're gathering in what's good. And let's push away everything we don't need. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, hands come all the way up. And exhale, push away. Yes. We'll lift that right hand high. Take an inhale here. And on our exhale, let's just take the stretch on over to that left side. Letting that bottom hand, letting that left hand just kind of inch on out. Maybe even taking our eye gaze toward the sky. Just a nice stretch here, making some space. We think about the stretch coming from the side body. All right, I want you to think about this is your powerhouse. This is where we hold all of our confidence, all of our strength, all that emotional strength that we have to tap into. It comes from here. It comes from our core. So let's think about the stretch coming from here, and the arm just kind of goes along for the ride. Oh, yes, that feels good. Let's take one more inhale here. One more exhale. Inhale, coming on back to center. And relax. Yes. Let's lift that left hand up nice and high. Take a big breath in. Exhale on over to that right side. Just let that right hand creep on out. Let the stretch come from the center. There we go. Maybe even taking our eye gaze slightly up. So we're opening up. If we're looking down, sometimes this hand is going to start crouching down, but we're open today. Yes. Let's take one more inhale here. One more exhale. Inhale, come on back to center and relax. All right, so we'll place our hands on our knees. We're going to do a couple of cat-cows, but since this is a beginner practice, let's do it while we're seated. Seated cat-cow. We're holding on to our knees nice and gentle. Inhale here, bring the chest forward. And on our exhale, let's round that spine, pulling that belly button in toward the spine. Yes. Let's go ahead. Inhale, arch. Bring that chest forward as we slightly lift the chin. And exhale, round. Inhale, arch. So if we were in the other option for cat-cow, that is when we're on our knees. It's just a great way to warm up the spine. I like options because not every pose works for everybody. So I'm a big believer in options. I don't really call them modifications because to me, I kind of put a little judgment on that word, and I probably shouldn't. But when I hear modify, it kind of feels like, oh, I can't do something. Whereas the word options kind of makes me feel like, oh, it's my choice. I was an English major. I have an English degree, so I'm obsessed with words and how I say something. And people probably don't even think about it, and I just overthink it. So you'll hear me say options. Let's do just one more here. Big breath in. Yes. Exhale. Go ahead. Take that round one last time. There we go. And let's sit up nice and tall. Yes. So we're going to go ahead and swing our feet around to the side, making our way to our first downward dog. Downward dog is an upside down letter V. All right. So this is our tabletop. We walk our hands forward a couple of inches, tucking the toes under, and then sending those hips to the sky, making a letter V with our body. We press into the palms of our hands as well as the finger pads. Little to no pressure on those wrists. Don't worry about it if your heels don't touch the mat. It's okay. There we go. Yes. Sending the hips to the sky, letting that head be heavy. Let's walk the dog here. Walking the dog, this is where we start to fire up the calves. We gently bend one knee on an inhale, and exhale, switch to the other side. And inhale. And exhale. We got to remind ourselves that in yoga, and really like anything, we have the freedom to change our mind. We have the freedom to come out of a pose at any time if it's not working for us or if we've had enough. So if being upside down like this, if we know this does not serve our body well, come out of it. Come back to tabletop. Come back to child's pose. Give yourself permission to do what feels right. We have our feet about hip distance apart. Let's take one more inhale here. One more exhale. Slowly lowering both knees on down to the mat. Ooh, yes. Finding our first child's pose as we send those hips back toward our heels. Reaching long with our hands. This is another one where we have to really remember no judgment, no expectation. If this is where we are in child's pose, this is as far back as our hips go, that's fine. It's how we're made. If we need to open up our knees for a little more room for our chest and tummy area, that's fine. That's how we're made. Let's honor where we are. I think that's the best thing that I've taken from yoga. It's this level of self-awareness without judgment. That's why it's called a practice. I've learned so much about myself. I've learned just because I have two legs doesn't mean they're both equal. So many things we learn on our mat that we can take off into our daily life. Yes. All right. While we're in child's pose here, let's go ahead, make our way back to a downward dog. Bring those knees back, tuck those toes under. Find that downward dog. Yes. Gently bending the knees. Let's go ahead and walk our feet all the way to the top of the mat. And we're going to reverse that dive. Take a big breath in as we lift the hands all the way up toward the sky and take them down to heart center. So we'll start some sun salutations. This is where our feet are about hip distance apart. And if you are very, very, very new to yoga, you may have heard the word or heard the phrase sun salutations. There are literally hundreds of different types. And in most yoga classes, you will probably find a couple of different ones. So let's just take a moment, remember why we're here, and we'll start. Honor our body and where we are. Let's take a big breath in. Hands come all the way up. Soften the knees. Exhale, we'll take a fold. Knees are nice and soft. We bring our hands to our shins, just below our knees for this nice flat back. I'm going to show you from the side. The goal is to have the hips right over. Sometimes when we're in this fold, sometimes people kind of sit back like this. So again, it's a little bit of a practice here. This is that nice extension, long neck. Exhale, let's take a fold. Reverse the dive, taking a big breath in. Soften the knees. Exhale, fold. One more time. This is a little half sun salutation. Flat back, nice long neck here. Exhale, fold. Reverse the dive all the way up. And hands come to heart center. So if we are not already at the top of our mat, let's get there right now. Take a big breath in. Hands come all the way up. Soften those knees. Exhale, we take our fold. Flat back on that breath in. Nice long neck. Exhale, fold. This time we plant the hands on the mat and we step on out to a plank, 1 foot at a time. Let's send our knees down. Send those knees down. Yes. Gently lower chaturanga all the way down. The elbows hug the body. We relax the tops of the feet. Just take a little lift here, squeezing those glutes. We squeeze the glutes to take tension out of the lower back. So no pressure back there. And exhale, let's find our downward dog again. Yes. Gently bending those knees, let's step our feet all the way up to the top of the mat. Reversing the dive, big breath in. Going right back in, soften the knees, exhale, fold. We're gonna do this one 2 more times. Taking it to a flat back with that nice extension. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step on out to our plank. Knees can go down or not, it doesn't matter. If they're up, we do what I call peer over the edge. All right? So that's where we shift the shoulders a little bit past the wrists and then lower down. Gentle cobra, just a little lift here. And exhale, downward dog. That little shift, it protects the shoulders. We'll gently bend those knees, look at our hands, step or lightly hop on up. Big breath in, soften those knees, exhale, fold. We've got one more here. Flat back on the breath in, nice long neck. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step on out to a plank. Peering over the edge, lower chaturanga. Gentle cobra or upward dog if we feel warm enough for it. If we're an upward dog, our shoulders are pulled away from our ears. We're not throwing that head back. We don't want to crunch our neck or put it in a direction it's not made to go in. And let's find downward dog. Yes. Gentle breath in. One more exhale. Let's bend those knees, look at our hands, step or lightly hop. We'll reverse the dive all the way up and bring our hands to heart center. Hanging out here for a few moments. So if this is where you'd like to stop, feel free. This is a nice little stimulating 15-minute practice for you. If you'd like to go forward, let's find our mountain pose. We'll release our hands to the side. Our palms are facing forward. Feet are about hip distance apart. Just a little check-in here. So mountain pose is also called Tadasana. And it's really just a nice way to check in, find that mindful breath again. Let's inhale, bring our shoulders forward and up. And exhale, take them back and down. Yes. Inhale, shoulders come forward and up. Exhale, take them back. One more time. There we go. Yes. So let's find that little half salute again. This is where we take the big breath in, hands come all the way up, soften the knees, exhale, fold. Flat back on that breath in, nice long neck. Exhale, fold, but let's reverse the dive. Come all the way back up to standing, and we'll find our chair pose. It's exactly as it sounds. Bringing our feet, bringing our legs together. There we go. Arms hovering over the ears. If that's a little too much, especially if we're very new to chair, hands can come to heart center. So while we're here in chair, we should still be able to see our toes. I'm just going to show you from the side. Nice long spine here. So we don't want to push that bottom back. We're not tucking anything forward. We're just sinking. I like to sink and then I lengthen out my spine. Yes. Wherever we are, that's where we're supposed to be. Let's go ahead. Inhale, rise back up. Soften those knees. Exhale, we'll take our fold. Flat back on the breath in, nice long neck. Exhale, fold, reverse that dive, big breath in. Let's find chair again. Yes. Pulling our shoulders away from our ears. Our eye gaze is like a few feet in front of us, because if we're looking down, then we're tucking that chin, and we don't want to crunch our neck. Not a direction our neck was made to go in. Let's honor how we're made, because we're made perfectly. This is how we're supposed to be. We're so perfect. There's only one of us. So just honor where you are right now. Let's take a big breath in as we rise up. Soften those knees. Exhale, fold. We've got one more chair going here, you guys.
Flat back on that breath in. Exhale, fold. Reverse the dive. Last chair. Yes. Pull those shoulders away from the ears. Remember when we talked about how every inhale is the preparation and every exhale is the work? Maybe we can sink a little bit more on our exhale. Oh, yes. Let's take an inhale, rise up. Open up the feet, soften the knees. Exhale, let's take our fold. So we're going to hang out in this fold for a couple of moments. Knees are soft. We'll just swing the arms a little bit side to side, letting the head be heavy. Maybe cup our elbows and just shake our head no and yes, loosening up those neck muscles. We'll release those hands to the mat. Just hang out here. And let's rise back up. Take a big breath in, nice and slow. Bringing our hands all the way up toward the sky and down to heart center. Finding a couple of balance poses here. Let's shift our weight onto our right side. We're getting ready for a tree pose, and you've probably heard of that. It's one of the most common balance poses. It's my favorite. We also know that if we hear the word balance and we know that we're going to be balancing on one foot or whatever, no expectation, no judgment. If we need to hold on to a chair or hold on to a wall, go for it. Now's the time to get there. It's just yoga. It's not that big of a deal. No judgment whatsoever. All right? We've got our mat supporting us. We've got the earth supporting us. So there's no problem with holding onto a wall. So if we shift our weight onto our right side, let's open up in that left leg. Tree is a hip opener. So we can hang out right here, thumbs gently pressed up against the chest. We can bring that left foot, the left toes, up against the standing leg. You can bring the heel below the knee joint or toes above. There it is. Yes. Hands could stay at heart center, or we can take them toward the sky. Reaching high, but pulling the shoulders down away from the ears. I mentioned that tree pose is my favorite. It absolutely is, because I think it just symbolizes what we all need to hear, which is we can be rooted, we can be strong and stable and grounded in our principles or the things that we believe in, but we can also reach for the sky. We can also remember that we have limitless potential, and that if we want to grow, we have to be flexible. We have to bend so that we don't break. Let's get a little bit taller. Gentle breath in here. And on our exhale, let's pull it all down. Yes. All right. Shifting our weight onto our left side. Let's go ahead, open up here. Bringing that right foot up against the standing leg. If there's a little bend in our left knee, that's fine. We'll bring the toes above the knee joint if that's where we are today. I'm a little wobbly. It's all good. There we are. Hands could stay at heart center, or we can lift them toward the sky. Sometimes it helps to look at something on the floor, like a few feet in front of us, that is not moving. That can help with balance. When I'm teaching a yoga class in person, a lot of times I will look at someone else's mat that's standing in front of me. It just kind of helps us focus and helps with the stability. Let's find a little more length here. Yes.
Gentle breath in. And on our exhale, let's go ahead, lower everything down. So we will make our way back to the top of the mat. We'll do a little sun salutation to get down to our mat. So let's take a big breath in. Hands come all the way up. Soften those knees. Exhale, take our fold. Flat back on that breath in. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step on out to a plank, 1 foot at a time. Peering over the edge as we lower, chaturanga. Gentle cobra or upward dog. Remember, we squeeze those glutes. And exhale, downward dog. Let's lower those knees all the way down. Take our time getting there, finding child's pose. This is a great place to stop if you just wanted a good 25 minutes to 30 minutes. Great place to stop. Otherwise, if you'd like to go a little further, we have a couple of restorative poses, and then we will wrap things up with our final relaxation. All right. So from here, let's come onto our knees and find this puppy dog stretch. This is where our knees are right under our hips, and we drop on down to our forearms. Reaching the arms nice and long, and then dropping our forehead. So our hips are right over our knees, if we can kind of gauge that. Yes. Feeling the sensation in our arms. Let's lift our arms up and have Spider-Man hands. That's where we're on our finger pads. You can feel the energy traveling from your shoulder all the way to those fingertips. Find that breath. Those 3 and 4 counts on our inhales and exhales. We'll lower those arms back down. We'll take one more gentle breath in here. And on our exhale, we'll bring those elbows back under our shoulders. Push ourselves back up. Let's swing our feet around to the side. We're going to make our way all the way down to the mat. So extend the legs long, sitting up tall, bring the arms forward. Let's draw those shoulders back. This is our staff pose. I actually find this very challenging, just sitting here like this. Whew. Flexing our feet, shoulders are back. Taking a gentle inhale. And on our exhale, let's pull our belly button in toward the spine and lower all the way down, 1 vertebrae at a time. Take your time. Slow, 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 slow. Yes. All right. Let's find happy baby. So, a couple of options to get there. We can just hug our knees into our chest. Hands are placed on the knees. We can open up those knees if that feels okay today. You can stay right here. If we want to go a little bit further, maybe bring those feet toward the sky and hold on to our ankles. This is also really good. I'm trying to think of how I can do this with props, with a strap or a block. I'm not sure. I got to think about that. I love yoga toys. I love props. I will do a video on various yoga props that everyone should have in their home or wherever they practice yoga, especially my beginner yogis. All right, if we want to go a little further to happy baby, let's take our peace fingers, index finger and middle finger, and hold on to our big toes, keeping that lower back on the mat as we rock a little bit side to side. Yes. happy baby. This is a big opener, so no judgment or expectation, especially if any noises or gases are released. It's all good. Our body knows what to do to release. Let's go ahead, release those toes. We'll bring those knees back together. Whoo, yes. It's a big opener. I like to end a yoga sequence with some type of opener because it reminds us that we were open to just come on here and we're open to new experiences, but we're also open to giving good things, giving good stuff, giving that positive energy. All right. Let's drop those feet toward the mat. We'll open up our arms like we're making a capital T. Let's just drop those knees on over to one side. Little restorative twist here. Keeping both shoulders on the mat if we can, and taking our eye gaze in the opposite direction that our knees are in. Twists are a great way to wring out toxins, release stress. You're literally wringing out what your body doesn't need. That's what is happening with a twist on the inside. And every time we exhale, we just let a little bit more of it go. Let's take an inhale here. And on our exhale, bring everything back to center. Taking an inhale to prepare. And exhale, let's drop those knees on over to the other side. Don't worry about it if those knees don't touch the floor. Taking our eye gaze in the opposite direction that our knees are in. Just a couple of breaths here. This restorative twist. We'll take a gentle breath in here to prepare. And on our exhale, let's bring everything back to center. Whew. All right. So here is the part of the practice where we take our final resting position. And there's so many different options. My favorite, knees falling in toward each other, one foot on each side of the mat with my arms alongside the body. That takes a little pressure off of my lower back. So it just feels really good for me. But you might like a butterfly stretch. Maybe you just want your legs hanging out nice and long. Maybe you'd like to scooch up against a wall and have your bottom close to the wall and bring your legs up the wall. Maybe you want to be seated. We'll be here for about 2 to 3 minutes. So whatever feels right for you for this final relaxation, that's what you do. This is where we seal in our practice, rewarding ourselves for the work that we've done here today. This is what we call Shavasana. Eyes can be opened or closed, and just enjoy this time.
we start to bring some awareness back to our body just by wiggling our toes and fingers a little bit at a time, making slight movements with our hands and feet. And then making our way onto our left or right side in a gentle curled up position. Knowing if we want to stay on our back, that's absolutely fine. And then using the strength from our hand and our arm, we'll go ahead, push ourselves up to seated, getting adjusted to that light. Not just the light that's around us, but the light that we have inside. Our own unique light that we are going to share with everyone. Sitting up nice and tall, let's lift our hands all the way up toward the sky, taking a big breath in. Exhale, push away. Long fingers, long arms. Let's do that again. Inhale, rise. Exhale, letting go of everything and everyone that does not work for our good. One more breath in as we bring our hands up and together at heart center. Thank you all so much for practicing yoga with me today and for just taking this time for yourself. Taking this time to try something new, whether it's yoga or trying a new instructor, me. You guys, you should be celebrated. Absolutely. You still have breath. You still have wonderful things that you have to do and wonderful things that are waiting just for you. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.